I'm going to go as far as saying it's the most underrated EV on the market.
Yeah. What self-respecting car person hasn't at some point wanted a noisy V8?
Controversial opinion here. You're looking at an American-made product versus a Japanese-made product. I'm just going to leave that there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Take from that what you will.
Exactly.
Now, new cars. We all love a new car. What's not to love? They smell good. They feel good. You get that whole special new car experience at the dealership. Good thing.
You also get a full new car warranty, which is also awesome.
Yeah, very good.
But fun fact for those of you that don't work in the car industry, all new cars are pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are less good generally have a huge warranty. So you kind of can't go wrong buying a new car.
Yeah.
Although you can, because we think there's a whole bunch of used cars that are potentially better and cheaper and just a better package than a whole host of popular new cars.
And if not cheaper, they might come with more stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the list. This is the new cars we might all want, but the used cars you should buy instead.
Now, we're going to kick off with a car that basically inspired this whole idea. Adam, a mate of yours, right?
Yeah, a mate of mine, Brendan, called me and said, hey, I'm thinking about getting a brand spanking new BMW. What do you think? And I said, they're great. They're bloody fast.
We had one in the workshop today in that signature blue.
Yep.
I love them. They're good.
I'm torn on the looks, especially from the front, not that into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, really, really special car. But it got me thinking, for $135,000, we're talking about the LCI update BMW M2. Granted, great thing. But the thing is, as good as the new M2 is, we don't think it's the M2 you should get.
No, we think you should buy the previous generation.
But the most special of the previous generation, which is the CS.
Yeah, what a car.
This thing's amazing. This is the M2 with all of the go fast bells and whistles. It's genuinely special. Also, super rare. There's hardly any around. Also about $135,000.
Very similar power to weight ratio.
Very similar.
Yep.
Actually, the CS is slightly better than the G87 M2.
Worth mentioning that the G87 is the S58, the new generation, and the F87 is the S55. Absolutely solid unit, if it matters to you.
Exactly.
Yep.
The big thing here, but I think, and it's what I said to my mate Brendan, as good as the new M2 is, it is going to depreciate. It's going to get creep down. You look at the previous generation of the non-competition M2s and even the competition M2s, it will depreciate.
Yeah.
The CS, M2 CS, I don't know if that's going to go down.
I think it's going to hold its own for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty good.
But there's another option.
What about a 2021 G82 M4?
Also, competition X-Drive. Now, this thing is crazy rapid, right? We're talking, so remember, the G87 M2, 0 to 100, about 3.9 seconds.
Yep.
The M4 Comp X-Drive, 2.8 seconds.
That's rapid.
It has, again, superior power to weight ratio over the new M2 and around about the same price. You get more car.
And someone's already taken a bit of a depreciation hit on it as well.
Exactly.
And for a track day, they're all good cars for a track day.
Yeah.
But the second two, the alternatives, I'd definitely be considering those.
And then as a daily driver, the M4 has a bigger boot. It's got a bigger rear seat, has similar levels of tech. Okay, it might have the slightly older generation of BMW's iDrive. Still fantastic, but. So yeah, there you go. Get an M2 CS or an M4 instead of the new M2.
Now, next up, completely other end of the fast car spectrum, it's a slow car, brand new Toyota HiLux.
Yeah, talking about 2025 HiLux, not the hybrid.
Yep.
Okay, we're just talking the standard HiLux, but in SR5 trim because it's the most popular.
Yep.
Absolute classic, these things. You're currently looking around about the $70,000 mark-ish.
I think that would be good buying for one
That's
of those,
pretty good
if
buying.
you can do it. Yeah, but you might even find a smidge over that, depending on where you go. But yeah, about that.
Now, we reviewed one of these not that long back, and unbelievable for reliability, fantastic build quality. In saying that, the ride quality's not great in standard form, the interior's very low rent, the tech isn't all that
Ride
good.
quality actually is a huge standout in this sector. It's absolute shit.
It's pretty bad, honestly. You're paying Toyota tax here for reliability and the image and the whole, it's a Toyota thing.
Definitely.
Which is why we don't think you should buy one.
No, we think you should buy a 2024 Nissan Navara.
Specifically, the Pro 4X Warrior.
Yep.
Now, this thing is going to cost around about the same price, around that sort of $70,000 mark. But when you think about it, right, so most Hilux owners, okay, I'm not going to say most, plenty of Hilux owners have no intention of keeping their Hilux standard, are they? You're at least going to throw a set of wheels on it, maybe some all-terrains, maybe some suspension, maybe a bit of bar work. Why do any of that when you can let Nissan do it for you? Also, all the Warrior cars, the Patrol Warrior, the N-Trek Warrior, the Pro 4X Warrior, all that engineering for the Warrior part was done by Premcar here in Australia. It's using a lot of Australian components.
And actually did an excellent job.
Fantastic job. Actually, another car you should buy instead of the HiLux is the N-Trek Warrior. I was lucky enough to be kind of in the development of that vehicle, and we tried to break them, right? We abused them, and what they're capable of is outrageous. Anyone that's sitting out there going, oh yeah, no, but my HiLux is tougher than a Warrior, I mean, no, you're full of shit. I can't explain to you how much abuse we gave these Warriors, and they just came back for more. You don't have a Warrior, but you've got a normal Navara. How's reliability?
It's excellent. It's super excellent. I'm going to loop back to the ride quality thing again. The Navara, this was a defining point why I bought the Navara, really, because it's got the coil spring rear end, totally fine for towing. It's got the same towing capacity as the HiLux. It's noticeably better on road. It is smoother, it's more comfortable everywhere. Doesn't get that, it's not perfect, but doesn't get that horrible body on frame, floppy sensation you get in the HiLux. It's 1,000 times better.
Exactly. And then when you up it to the Warriors, it's even better again, because again, that suspension has been calibrated for Australian conditions. The N-Trek Warrior, how's this, right? So you're looking at what, say $70,000 for a HiLux or $70,000 for the Pro 4X. You can get an N-Trek Warrior with not many Ks on it for 50 grand. $20,000 cheaper. $20,000 cheaper.
And at that price, you can still use it for ute things and not worry about it.
Exactly. Also, they've got bloody long warranties as well. So with the Pro 4X, you've still got heaps of warranty left. So you don't have to worry about, it hasn't got new car warranty. Okay, the N-Trek, it's starting to run out of warranty by now. But both of these things have all of the bells and whistles. I think they're equivalent in as far as interior trim goes and living with it to the HiLux.
Because Toyota cheaping out, basically. So the Nissan is it's as good, I reckon.
Absolutely. But we're not done.
No.
There's another car that we think you should buy over a brand new HiLux, and that's a 2023 Mitsubishi Triton Extreme. These are about $62,000. The thing with the Mitsubishis, you're getting so much vehicle for your money. Like, these are loaded with stuff. Also, this is the last of that Triton line. So any niggling issues have been sorted out. Reliability is pretty good.
Excellent. And they have a 10-year drivetrain warranty as well, which you don't get in any of those, but that is absolutely worth considering. And the on-the-fly four-wheel drive, the Super Select.
Super Select. Cannot say enough about Super Select. It's one of the only dual cab utes out there. I know the Amarok has got full-time four-wheel drive, and there are other full-time four-wheel drives out there, but Super Select 2, where you can select all-wheel drive on a sealed surface, I think up to 110 k an hour or something like that. Super Select is fantastic. I think that is the value for money pick.
And it's going to be on average 10 grand cheaper than the HiLux every time.
Well, you can get a very low kilometre Extreme for $62,000. So you're looking at what, $8,000 less
straight up
than the HiLux.
Yeah.
Kind of a no-brainer.
Now, let's talk about the new Ford Everest. The V6 Lion diesel. Not a bad car.
We're going to talk about the Sport trim spec. That's the most popular here in Australia.
It's pretty well set up.
$85,000. Brand new. $85,000.
For a family car.
For a family car. Look, really good thing. Full-time four-wheel drive in this. Great dual range, 7 seats, all the bells and whistles, all the tech you'd ever want. Good towing capacity, good GVM, good GCM.
Some reliability issues.
What's going on?
One of the camshaft sprockets is basically, they've tried this new material. It's like a lightweight cheese.
Like halloumi?
A bit like that, and it's really not up to the job. And the gear is just failing. They're all getting done under warranty. Whether they'll honour the warranty later on, who knows if this is going to be a long-term problem or not. They're probably fine, but it's definitely worth considering. But overall mechanical package, it is still relatively new. So it's, I feel they're still trying to work out a few bits and pieces on that whole package, which is why we don't think you should buy one. You should save yourself a stack of money. We'll get to how much you can save in a second. But the car we think you should buy instead, this engine, this 3.2 litre, has been, turbo diesel, has been around, I think, since about 1812. And it's, evolved to the point now where it is an extremely reliable engine. This car, we're talking about Mitsubishi Pajero. If you've watched any of our videos before, you're probably sick of us raving about how great a Pajero is. But this, we're talking about 2021, talking about the Exceed, so it's the top of the range Pajero here. This model Pajero, this is the last of the line. The Pajero evolved from, I think, like the early 1980s and just got better and better and better. So this is it. This is
anything that could have gone wrong, they have sorted out. It is so well sorted. It's really great to drive.
It is significantly lower on power and torque.
Yes.
But
we'll get to that.
Yep.
Also has Super Select, exactly like the Mitsubishi Triton. Really good towing capacity. Yes, even compared to the Everest, its towing capacity, GVM, GCM aren't far off the Everest. But the big thing here is the price.
Yep.
So what, we're looking at $85,000 for an Everest. Good thing.
Yep.
You can get an Exceed, 2021 Exceed, for 55 grand. That's $30,000 less. $30,000 less. So for your 30 grand, throw in some brand new infotainment so you can match the Everest with infotainment. Put in some really nice suspension so you can do better than the Everest in suspension. Yep. Nice set of wheels, some all-terrain, some accessories. You'll still probably come out 10 or 15 grand ahead.
You could even not worry about the aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's all about comfort and practicality, right? If you just do the infotainment and suspension, it's going to feel great, drive great, everything you need.
Yep.
For $30,000 less, maybe 20 by the time you do some upgrades.
Proven platform, bulletproof engine. There are examples of these engines with over 1 million Ks on them.
Yep.
Still going strong.
Yep.
They are so good.
I wonder what percentage of value the Everest is going to lose when it's 4 years old.
Yeah. They're holding their value pretty well at the moment, but let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Also, before you start going, oh yeah, but fuel consumption, okay, claimed for the Everest is 8.5 litres per 100 Ks, claimed for the Pajero 9.1 litres per 100 Ks.
That's nothing.
Barely anything.
Yep.
And again, if you're complaining about the GVM and GCM and towing capacity, just up all that with your $30,000 of cash left over.
Yeah.
I struggle to see why you'd buy the Everest.
Yeah.
Buy a Pajero.
This one could be a bit controversial.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Tesla Model Y.
Yeah, let's talk about Teslas. Okay, we're going to talk about the long-range all-drive model. These are hovering around about the $80,000 mark, brand new.
They're a good car?
They're a good car. 551 kilometres of range on the WLTP cycle, which, if you know anything about EVs, is complete bullshit. Ignore that. You can fast charge it in 15 minutes. I think it's 10 to 80% in 15 minutes. The critical thing for a family SUV but is 0 to 100 time, 4.8 seconds, slam the kids into the rear seat.
Get to soccer training in 5 seconds.
Warp speed.
Yeah.
Honestly, really good thing. As much as Elon Musk is a dickhead, it's actually quite a good EV. The problem is depreciation is hitting so hard. If you've seen our depreciation video recently, it'll explain the depreciation. But you've also got to remember, we know wholesalers now that are not taking Teslas as wholesale trade-ins at all. So,
I mean, the reputation of their founder will probably bounce back in a couple of years. Like there's a lot of hate at the moment for the brand, but I'm sure people will forget that.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
But is it worth the risk? Because we don't think it is. No. We think on the used market there are just better cars for the same, if not less money. We're going to kick off with the Kia EV6. Now we're talking about the 2023 model, but not just any EV6, Jim.
It's the GT.
It's the GT. It's the spicier one. Yeah. A little bit less range on the WLTP cycle for 424 kilometres versus 551. That doesn't matter. It's on an 800 volt architecture, so in fast charging from 10 to 80%ish, about 18 minutes. The all important 0 to 100, 3.5 seconds. So you get to ballet and soccer practice even faster.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. About the same price.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, but I think the Kia is a better gateway drug to EVs than the Tesla.
When you drive it, it's definitely more car-like and less EV-like.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I think so. Yeah. It might not have the sort of minimalist design language inside, but it's still a fantastic car to live with. Yeah. I've had one as a press car, and it was great. More
of a car than a tech device.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Same can be said for a car that shares exactly the same platform, the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5 Dynamic. Dynamic. This is the two-wheel drive, granted, not all-drive like the EV6 and the Model Y. Yep. Same price, about $80,000. Bigger range, 530 kilometres. This is also the updated car. So it's got some new tech, it's got some upgrades. I haven't driven this yet, but I have driven the previous one. Really, really good thing. Really good thing. I think also it's a bit more of a design statement. The Ioniq 5, it's a bit, for those of you that
can be a bit polarising though.
Yeah. If you want something kind of a bit schmancy to look at, good way to go. Yeah. Still don't think it's the one you should get.
No, I think the one our listeners and viewers should get should be the 2023 Genesis GV60.
In performance spec with all drive. you're going to save yourself probably $7,000 to $8,000.
Yeah. That is a stunning looking car.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely the best looking in this segment. Beautiful car.
I'm going to go as far as saying it's the most underrated EV on the market.
Yeah, I would agree.
Really good thing. Just for those of you not car nerds, the EV6, the Ioniq 5 and the GV60, they all share the same platform. Yep. Hyundai and Kia are basically the same thing. But this GV60, so we're talking about 2023 model, these things are loaded with stuff. 360-degree cameras, heads-up display, Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. Yep. There's one feature I really don't like. It's the stupid digital mirror things on the side of the screen.
They're awful. That whole not being able to move your point of reference.
It's like parallax things, parallel. You can't. Then, okay. Do they really save that much in aerodynamics? No. Are there other areas of the car you could have tweaked a little bit? And how much range can the shitty mirror actually save?
Yeah.
If it's going to be like 4 or 5 kilometres, just put a normal mirror on it.
It should be an option.
It's the only thing I don't like about that car.
Yeah. They could have put an ordinary mirror on it with a camera and still had the digital cameras as well. It could have had both.
Exactly.
It would have been a gimmick. No one would have complained then.
But yeah, I think over the Model Y, you should buy the Genesis.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Now this next one, we've actually done a video on this car. We reviewed it against its predecessor. It's the Toyota Prado J250.
Yep.
Good thing?
Good thing, really, really good thing. We're going to be talking about the VX, which is the most popular model at the moment, about $100,000. Look, it looks fantastic. I love the look of it, and the new tech inside is great. Where it left us a bit flat compared to the old one, it wasn't a massive improvement in terms of driving quality. Plus this new hybrid system.
Compromised luggage area?
Massively, especially in 7-seat form. Yeah. That is a Band-Aid solution if we've ever seen one. There's little build quality things here and there as well. Like, it's not bad, and it's obviously going to get better with age. But
we think you probably should just get the 300 series instead.
Yeah. So basically, the VX is about $100,000, give or take, But a 300 series GXL Land Cruiser, also about $100,000.
And it's got everything you need.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, I don't know if you know this, it's on the same platform as the Prado.
Exactly. But it has more power, more torque, has the same towing capacity, but it's got better GVM and GCM.
Slightly better interior space.
Yep. It's slightly larger. Yeah. It's $100,000 and you are getting more car. Okay, VX has got a few more bells and whistles versus the GXL, but the GXL is certainly, it's no stripped out, race ready version.
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
It is.
Nice car to be. Nice place to be.
It is. Still, it's not as nice as the one I'd get. Because if you want bells and whistles, for $100,000, you can get yourself a 2024 Nissan Patrol Warrior. The Warrior part is the critical bit here. Again, Prem car developed, all the accessories you want, all backed by a warranty. Okay, naturally aspirated V8. This is the last naturally aspirated V8 we're getting in.
And that's important. Like, what self-respecting car person hasn't at some point wanted a noisy V8?
Yeah.
Not too noisy, just a V8 so they can just go, yes.
It feels good.
I know,
it feels
it's
so
weird.
Good. Also, it's got a superior GVM and GCM, again, same towing capacity. But this is nuts. And also, side note, if you don't want to spend the $100,000 on your new Prado, you can get a Y62 in TIL trim with under 70,000 Ks on it for under $80,000. It's $20,000 cheaper.
And it's still a V8.
Still a V8. Yeah. Okay, not the Warrior. Still looks good. We're still talking about the facelifted model. Still got good stuff in it.
Yeah. But you're going to save 20 grand.
You're going to save 20 grand.
It's a really good starting point if you want to put stuff on it.
Yep.
And maybe looping it to the Patrol Warrior. I think that's probably going to hold its value as well as any of those, if not better.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The only negative I have with the Patrol is just the interior design maybe isn't great.
It's a bit dated.
It's tarted up a little bit in the Warrior, and the guys did a great job at making it look good. But I still think, come on, like nothing wrong with the new Prado. It's a good thing, great. But Patrol Warrior V8, come on.
Now, we're going to talk about the new Suzuki Jimny. And now, I know this is probably going to hurt you a little bit.
It does hurt me.
Because I know you're a big fan.
Big fan.
Are you a big fan of the price tag?
No.
Okay. Over to you.
Thank you. This is the most painful part of talking about Jimnys. So the 3-door, they're currently brand new, selling for $35,000 to $38,000. What? The XL, $40,000 to $44,000. I'm a massive fan, but they are not worth that money.
That is insane.
That's nuts. For that, you're getting 75 kilowatts and 130 newton meters of fabulous torque.
That'd pretty much be as fast as the Patrol Warrior, wouldn't it?
Yeah, not quite.
Not quite?
Not quite. You can barely tell the difference.
Yeah. It's still...
let's go through positives. The Jimny's a fantastic off-road with a few intelligent mods. They're even better off-road.
Yeah.
However, they're not great on-road. I remember I was on the Mooney Bridge between Sydney and Newcastle in a 3-door, and a truck went past, and it was
terrifying.
I've been skydiving, and that was less scary than the Jimny on the
They're
Mooney
not
Mooney.
Good on the open road.
The interior does feel a bit cheap. They're a bit rattly. The infotainment, that's being generous. It's not. It's terrible. The tech is shit.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Save your money.
Save lots and lots and lots of money. We'll tell you how much in a second.
Go and look at a used Pajero IO.
EO
IO?
UE.
Yeah.
We're doing, okay, look, 2001, but okay, before you all jump in the comments going, are you joking? What does the Jimny do that the little Pajero doesn't, okay? They're both great off-road. They're both interesting on-road. They've both got terrible safety features. They've both got shockingly bad tech. They're both boxy.
They're both reliable.
They're both super reliable.
Yep.
They're both available in a 5-door and a 3-door.
Yep.
But here's the difference, kids. The Pajero is $30,000 less. You can get a Pajero EO from $6,000 to about $13,000. So okay, it doesn't have a warranty. You're not going to have a $30,000 repair bill in a Pajero EO ever.
And here's the thing too: if you've only spent about 10 or 13 grand on a little four-wheel drive, run around town, extreme duty grocery getter, if you've only spent that much. After living with it for a year or two and you realise how much life actually does suck, because let's face it, they're both pretty horrible to own and drive, you haven't blown anywhere near as much money and you're getting the same thing on paper. And I would wager also that the Pajero is actually cooler.
I think the Pajero is cooler. Yeah. Cal's going to put up a photo of a 3-door that I saw near where I live, and with a few intelligent mods, these things are dripping in cool.
They're cool.
I love a Jimny. We all know I love a Jimny.
They're too much.
They're too much. Ridiculous. Get the Pajero.
Now, I'm seeing a lot of the new MG3 on the road.
Loads
Heaps
of them. Stacks of them.
They're cheap, they have a good warranty. Not a bad thing.
Yep. Loaded with kit like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the bits and bobs you'd want. You've got two engines to choose from, 1.5 litre 4-cylinder and a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder hybrid. Pricing-wise, brand new 23 to about 28 grand.
That's affordable.
It's appealing. I totally get it. You shouldn't buy one, but
No.
What you should buy instead is a 2022 to 2024 Mazda 2. Round about the same sort of price. 1.5 litre engine, but it has better fuel efficiency. It's 1 litre per 100 Ks better. It's got a better power to weight ratio. It is more fun to drive. How's reliability?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent reliability mechanically, cheap to service, cheap to own, cheap to repair. I would wager that in 5 years' time, it will hold its value better than the MG.
And I think in 5 years' time, it's going to feel a whole lot nicer to drive and live with than the MG.
Yeah. When they're all out of warranty and you're paying for stuff for yourself, I think the Mazda's a better option.
Even in terms of just getting parts and backup support, I just think, there are still stacks of first-gen Mazda 2s on the roads.
Yep.
Heaps of them. They just go and go and go. So for the same money, just buy the Mazda 2 instead. It's only a year or two old. Yeah. Get one of them.
But if you're hell-bent on getting a hybrid, and some people want to do the right thing for the planet, have a look at a 2020 to 22 Honda Fit.
Yes, this is the eHEV.
Yeah.
So looking at $25,000 to $30,000 here. 1.5 litre petrol engine, which it's the same 1.5 litre in all the other J's.
Yeah, it's been around for years. It's a solid motor.
Bulletproof, right? But has hybrid technology with it. It returns 2.75 litres per 100 Ks.
That's pretty good.
And that's actually pretty achievable. People are getting that.
Yeah.
Has a similar power to weight ratio as the naturally aspirated Suzuki Swift Sport.
How good is that?
A Jazz is already a pretty fun car to drive, but with a bit of hybrid EV power there, maybe even better, it still has all the positives of a Honda Jazz. So with this one, it's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the infotainment stuff you want, all the safety stuff you want. It is easily the most practical of all of this category of car. There are concerns. It's an import.
Yeah. It's an import somewhere. It's an import here, but not everywhere. But it is, to offset that, incredibly reliable.
Yes.
Honda reliability. And again, I would even say, compared to the Mazda, it would probably have better resale than the Mazda.
Yeah. I think this is a bit of a hidden gem, these fits. I think people are going to go, hang on a sec, this thing's bloody awesome. Because it's an import, if you want to know the details on imports, we've made an import buying guide video. Check that out. The link is down below.
And imports these days, it's not like it used to be. There are so many people you can go through to get parts. It's really not
that big a deal.
An issue.
And again, all the mechanical stuff is shared with Aussie models anyway, so it shouldn't be a drama. Don't buy an MG3. Get either of these two, or a skateboard, or walk or get public transport.
Another one shrouded in controversy.
That was really good.
I don't know which one it is, but I do know the car is a Tesla Model 3.
Yeah, okay.
Should you buy one?
No.
Of course not.
God, no. If you own one, sell it. Sell it now before it gets burnt down to the ground or depreciates to a point where it's worth absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Like, again, we've mentioned it with the Model Y before. Depreciation here is an absolute killer. Good car. $90,000 for the Model 3 Performance. Super fast.
Yeah.
0 to 100 in 3.1 seconds. And it is a fantastic car. I know people will hate me saying that, but...
Objectively, they're a good car. But you know what else is a good car objectively?
Oh, yeah.
Try a used BYD Seal.
Yeah, 2024 Seal. Yep. Again, the performance model. This thing's fantastic. So, okay, the all-important 0 to 100. The Tesla will do 3.1. The Seal will do 3.8.
That's the same time in the real world.
Barely anything. But the Seal has more range. 580 kilometres of range versus 528 kilometres worth of range.
Worth mentioning.
The Seal is loaded with stuff.
Yeah. And significantly cheaper.
Yes.
Significantly cheaper.
Yeah,
like
you ready?
$40,000 cheaper.
Yeah, so $90,000 for the Model 3 Performance. For a 2023 Seal, about $55,000.
Yeah.
The Tesla is not worth the extra, what's that, 30 grand?
Yeah.
35 grand?
And for those of you who are worried about cars made in China, they're both made in China.
Yeah, the Tesla's made in China. Our American viewers are going to hate this. When we've done Tesla videos, the Chinese made ones are better quality than the American ones. Yeah. Sorry. Also, that BYD Seal, again, I've mentioned this before. Again, this is a bit like a gateway drug into EVs. Yeah. If you're new to EVs, a Tesla can be quite confronting. It can be like, my partner didn't like the Tesla experience because it's just all a bit too, it's a bit too weird, not car-like.
Yep.
The BYD Seal, it feels like a car, and in all the good ways. And a lot of people are a bit critical of the Chinese-made stuff, but go drive a BYD Seal and tell me you're not blown away. It is
the difference in price, you'd be mad not to consider it.
It is an exceptionally good car. They're fantastic. Don't buy a new one, but buy a used one.
Now, if driving into crowds of people is your thing, maybe you could consider a 2025 Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. Although we don't know if they're driving into crowds of people yet, like the previous generation. They probably will, but some idiot that has no driving ability just turns traction and stability control off like a complete boob. You're looking at, okay, remember when the Mustang GT was affordable? Yeah. They're now like $90,000 to $95,000.
And you throw some special bits at it and a few dealership specials, and that'll be $100 grand in a heartbeat.
Bloody hell. Okay, 5-litre V8. It's a fantastic engine. Yeah. Proving to be reliable. Really, really good package. 345 kilowatts, 550 newton meters of American muscle.
Really nothing wrong with it, except for the stigma of it being a Mustang.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
How are you on the looks of the new one?
I actually don't mind it.
Yeah, I'm not sold yet. I think I need to see it more.
Yeah.
There's a few around where I live, and I'm like, getting there. Yeah.
It's overall, it's a pretty dated design though, but I think it looks right.
But the new one with the sharp edges and less badging and less...
It's still essentially the same shape.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't think you should buy one.
No.
Because there's a car that has a 5-litre V8 up front and it's rear-wheel drive, and it has far superior build quality.
Well, standard actually has more power.
It does too. We're talking about the 2017 Lexus RCF. Now, for 75 to 85 grand, you might even be able to get into one of the special carbon edition ones. This is a hell of a car.
Yeah.
If anyone out there owns one of these and you live in Sydney or Newcastle, can we film it, please? Because we're dying to get one on the channel. Let us know. There's an email down below. Email me.
You've got your, typical Lexus reliability, made in Japan.
Yep.
absolutely bulletproof. You can probably just rip into it everywhere you go, and it's probably never going to break.
I totally agree. Also, as great as the Mustang sounds, there's something about a Japanese V8.
Yeah,
that engine, that is a special bit of gear. I think the RCF is massively underrated, and I think it's going to come around. I think it'd be like the ISF, where, you know, for many, many years, the ISF was a little cheaper than an M3 or a C63, but you look at it now, they've come around. That's the cutting edge. Same with the GSF versus an E63 or an M5.
Well, at the end of the day, it's because reliability always is better.
Yeah.
And the price will sort of drop a little bit, and then everyone will realise, oh my God, these are still amazing and better than all their competitors because Lexus.
Yep. And also, you're saving yourself, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over the Mustang. So, okay, the Lexus might be a bit behind the times in terms of infotainment technology. You can upgrade all that stuff.
Even the new generation Mustang, I think the Lexus looks better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, just on the topic of upgrading the stuff, if you need to upgrade your infotainment system or maybe the speakers, maybe you want some aftermarket wheels or performance suspension parts or engine parts or any automotive accessories, Automotive Superstore carry over 400,000 parts from over 500 different manufacturers. So chances are they're going to have anything you need.
Plus, everything comes with a manufacturer's warranty. So click the link below and check them out.
But back to the Mustang versus the Lexus thing. Controversial opinion here. You're looking at an American-made product versus a Japanese-made product. I'm just going to leave that there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Take from that what you will.
Exactly.
How nice would it be rolling out of a very fancy schmancy Mercedes showroom in a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class C300? Imagine how special you would feel.
You would feel very special.
You'd have all the Mercedes fluffers in the showroom, taking care of you, making sure you felt great. But once you drive out that door...
Yeah. I reckon even when you close the door before you drive out the dealership and go, geez, the door handle's a bit squeaky. Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It broke off.
Yeah, there we go. Look, we've reviewed more recent Mercedes of late, and I'm a fan. I'm a big Lewis Hamilton fan, so in my blood, up until recently, I had to love Mercedes-Benz. But I don't know, they're just, for $108,000, you're getting a 2-litre petrol engine with 190 kilowatts and 400 newton meters. Yeah. If you want all the bells and whistles, you've got to pay for all the options. You've got to pay for everything more and more. So you just keep spending more cash on it. So you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do that. What you should do instead is buy a used 2022 Genesis G70. Yes, it's also a 4-cylinder. And yes, it has slightly less power and torque, but it's substantially lighter and it has a better power-to-weight ratio. And in terms of stuff you get, the Genesis in standard form has more things. Yeah. There's more features.
Yeah. If you debadge the two cars and put people in the Genesis, the Genesis is a nicer car.
The fit and finish, we've reviewed a G70. I actually gave it our Used Car of the Year award. Yep. The fit and finish and build quality is outstanding. It is so good. It is clearly superior in build quality to the Mercedes-Benz. But things get worse for the Mercedes-Benz fans. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, once that Merc is out of warranty.
Oh my God.
Yeah, honestly, it's a horror show.
But also, for $70,000, so sorry, I forgot to mention the G70 in with the 4-cylinder, $45,000 to $55,000. So remember, C-Class, $108,000 before options, before bells and whistles. Yeah. The Genesis G70, just a couple of years old, with all of the bells and whistles, $45,000 to $55,000, and it is the better car. Yep. Even better again is if you get the G70 with the 6-cylinder. So it is dramatically more powerful. You're looking at, okay, the Merc is 190 kilowatts. The 6-cylinder G70, 274 kilowatts, torque 400 newton meters versus 510 newton meters.
The G70 is significantly faster.
And I'm pretty sure it's all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Sure it's all-wheel drive.
Yep.
Guess how much, Jim?
70 grand.
Yeah. You've got it written down. So yeah. Okay. But again, $108,000 for the Merc, 70 grand for the Genesis.
38 grand for paying 38 grand less for a better car.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Why?
What is going on?
Sorry, why would you buy the new Mercedes? God, the Mercedes as a brand are going to hate us.
Sorry.
Buy the used Genesis. Yeah. BMW are about to hate us.
I think they already hate us.
I think they already hate us. Let's talk about the 2025 BMW 5 Series in 520i M Sport trim. $130,000.
That's a bargain.
And you get a 2-litre Turbo petrol with 153 kilowatts and 330
Wow,
newton
it does
meters.
0 to 107.5 seconds.
Yep.
What a weapon.
Yeah.
It is rear-wheel drive, though.
I think, what have we got in here? I reckon the AutoZam might be quicker.
It's probably quicker,
although the AutoZam, I think, is slightly smaller than a 5 Series.
Yeah,
Could be wrong.
Bit, yeah.
Look, in all seriousness, the 5 Series is an exceptional car.
Yeah,
when brand new, fantastic. Again, all the bells and whistles, every bit of technology you'd want. Yep. The looks are interesting. I miss old BMWs, but we're not ragging out the BMW.
No.
Fantastic bit of gear. But the problem it has is the 2022 Genesis G80.
Yeah, it exists.
We'll get to the price in a sec.
3.5 litre turbo. Again, 279 kilowatts compared to 153.
Yep.
Come on.
530 newton meters versus 330.
All-wheel drive.
Versus rear-wheel drive. So therefore, just in terms of physics, it's safer.
Yep.
It is loaded with stuff.
Yep.
Like loaded. Whatever you want in a car, the G80 has it.
Yep.
Okay? Remembering the price, $130,000 for the 5 Series. Have a guess how much cheaper the Genesis is going to cost you. $40,000 cheaper.
That's incredible.
$40,000 cheaper. So you could buy a Genesis G80 and a Mazda MX-5 and have $5,000 left over for the same price as the BMW.
Yep.
And I reckon the build quality of the Genesis and the Mazda are superior to the 5 Series.
Yeah. Now, before the BMW fans come at us saying, that the BMW is fully loaded with all the bells and whistles, well, so is the Genesis.
The BMW comes with a 12-speaker sound system.
They do sound incredible.
Yeah. Really good sound system.
Yeah.
But, hey, Jim, how many speakers has the Genesis got?
21. That is 9 better speakers.
9 speakers betterer.
Yeah. And still $40,000 less.
Come on.
And you get 9 extra speakers.
My God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And a sub. Yeah. Sorry, 21 and a sub. We missed that. We miscounted. 21 and speakers.
Yeah.
So it's 10 better. It's 22.
Actually, you know what? There's another... Okay, so this is... I'll be honest, this is BMW ripping us off for pricing here. You know another area that a lot of these OEM manufacturers rip people off?
Where?
Wiper blades.
Yeah, I see this all the time. The amount of money that dealerships are charging for wiper blades, it's insane.
And then with the aftermarket stuff, some of that stuff is honestly shit. You don't know if it's going to fit properly or wipe properly. And then when you go to the shop to try to pick what's there's just too many. To avoid all this, hit the link below and get a set of Wipertech wiper blades. Plus you're going to get 15% off and free express shipping via that link. They're the only wiper blades we choose to use on our cars. They're a great Aussie company. You're going to love them as much as we do. Check them out. The link's below.
Now, just say you want a medium-sized SUV, but you want it to be ridiculously fast, right?
Yeah. So you could go and buy yourself a 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 43 AMG. It's got 310 kilowatts.
That's
and
fast.
500 newton meters. It's from a 4-cylinder as well.
Yeah, impressive.
Or you could buy a 2025 BMW X3 M50 xDrive. That thing's got a 3-litre 6. Hell of an engine, by the way, one of my favourites. Yeah. 280 kilowatts and 540 newton meters. The Merc's going to set you back $150,000. The BMW is going to set you back $130,000 to $145,000.
Depending on spec. Yep.
Here's the argument.
Yeah.
If you want your fancy badged, fast, medium-ish sized SUV, well, why not just go all out and get the best one, which is a Porsche Macan GTS.
Yeah, just go full brand snob, get the Porsche.
Absolutely. You want the fancy brand.
But objectively, actually, it's better buying, I think.
I think it's a better car. Yeah. 2020 Porsche Macan GTS, $120,000 new. These things actually are pretty good for depreciation. On the used market, $100,000 to $110,000.
Yeah. And compared to the Merc and the Beamer, that Merc is just going to be worthless in 10 years' time.
Yep. Even the BMW, like we've done a video on X3, X4, and there's some issues there. The Macan, not too bad, but it's a 2.9 litre twin turbo 6, 280 kilowatts, 520 newton meters. Okay, technically it might be slightly slower than the Merc and the BMW, but when you're saving yourself at least $15,000, maybe even $40,000 compared to the Merc, just tune the Macan up a little bit.
Exactly right. And again, you'll get all that back in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Because the Porsche will be worth more.
Yep. Also, and I know I sound like a wanker saying this, there's something about driving the Porsche. There's something, I don't know how they do it, and I've mentioned this in our Porsche videos. There's something going on there. It does feel, better. It feels more special.
Yep.
The Merc and the BMW, at normal around town speeds, they feel like any other Merc and BMW. Yeah. They don't feel that special until you're really punting the thing hard. The Macan, even at 40k an hour, it just does stuff.
Yeah, nice.
It's so well calibrated.
Yeah.
Now, that's about it, honestly. Are there any other new cars that you'd like to see us do used car comparisons on? Should we do a part 2 to this? Let us know in the comments.
Also, if you're enjoying these and like what we're doing, and you've made it this far in the video, why don't you subscribe?
Yeah, tickle that little subscribe button. All that does is allow us to make more content for you. So really, you're doing yourself a favour because it means you get more stuff for free.
Do it.
They're going to have anything you need.
Yeah, plus everything...
That's right.
Yeah, plus everything comes...
What are you doing? If you need to upgrade your infotainment system or... It's getting late. What time is it? This is why we're delirious. Oh. Speaking of upgrading things... Sorry. I knew that was going to happen.
Sorry, Cal, for wasting your time.
All right, it's easy.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't stop laughing. Automotive Superstore carry over 400,000 different parts from over 500 different manufacturers.
Sorry, there's literally
now what are you doing, Jim?
There's literally a laughing tear running down my face. I tried to block it out. And it was just dribbling down my face.
No need to get emotional about Automotive Superstore. Okay. You're going to be okay.
They're just so good. Oh, God.
Hilarity reading.
Just give me a minute.
All right.